Hello friends. So this is our fourth lecture on the Archetypes of Literature by Northrop Frye, the Canadian critic. You can see two concepts here written. One is assumption of a total coherence. The next one is the collective unconscious. Big words, simple things. For example, if you say theory of evolution, if you take it, you have the assumption of a total coherence. Evolution, you can see the theory, all the developments in biology or evolution, that is geared to a central point. It's going towards a central point, and the central point is the theory of evolution. Humans, animals, plants, these are parts of a whole. That's what is meant by an assumption of a total coherence. In literature, when you consider parts of a whole, means that we say that there is a unifying principle, and that unifying principle in literature is, according to Northrop Frye. We will say Frye next from now onwards, because Northrop, that will be a problem for me as well as for you. So we will say that Frye. So Frye says the unifying principle is, what do you see, the archetypes of literature. Because there you see whatever you the characters, different types of characters, different types of stories, different kinds of literature. What we say, genre, G-E-N-R-E, genre. Also it is pronounced G-E-N-R-E. It is pronounced genre, G-E-N-R-E, pronounced sh. Oh, sorry, that is a voiced sound. So genre. This is how it is pronounced, genre. So then what happens is, these things, what you see now, you find that these are separate things. According to Frye, they are not separate things. They are parts of a whole. And the parts of a whole is, he calls the whole he calls the archetype. So I think that is now clear. The collective unconscious means this, say for example, tendency to use a myth, tendency to use a genre, or tendency to create a particular character, the ability or tendency, whatever you call that, this is found in every human being. By the very fact that you are a human being, you have this ability to create, you have the ability to write, you have the ability to form, you have the ability to produce a novel or literature, things like that. Our ideas, these ideas, forms and ideas of literature, you also have the ability. Everybody has the ability. Everybody has the potential. Ability will be the implementing of a potential is your ability, you can say. Putting that into practice. So the ability, I cannot say that everybody has, but the potential everybody has. The potential that everybody has to do all these things. That is writing poetry, writing drama, writing and creating characters and all those things. And myths, referring myths, creating myths and so on. This is found in every human being. The problem is that this potential is dormant in the majority of the people. So that's why it's called collective unconscious. Collective means found in everyone. Unconscious means it is dormant. That it has to come to the conscious level. When it comes to the conscious level, as we say now, these poets and dramatists and so on, they have got, or creative writers, and people who give tunes to music, to songs, music, not tunes to music, but to songs. Kalyanji Anandji, we said the other day I told you, or A.R. Rahman. Such people, their potential, they are foregrounding. They are foregrounding for many reasons, because of many reasons. One thing, they have got the right environment. Then the other thing is that they have got the right encouragement. They have got enough facilities. See, suppose I have got the potential to play harmonium. If I don't have a harmonium, how can I play? That's a simple example I put. So collective unconscious means found in everyone. Simple example. Now coming back to this our today's lecture, I think these are the two key points. Assumption of a total coherence. That is, I told you, remember this theory of evolution and how all these different species and all the different kinds of animals, humans, and then from unicellular organism to the human, the crown of creation. That is, these are all, you can see, parts of this evolution. So the assumption total coherence means that evolution, theory of evolution. Within the theory of evolution, you can hold all these things. So like that, within the theory of archetypes, we can hold the entire literature. I think now that's clear. Okay, the second point is a collective unconscious found in everybody. Potential is in everybody, but it has to be put into effect or practice. That is, you have to translate into action. For that, you require a lot of other things. That's all. Okay. So according to Frye, the foreground of criticism, what is the function of criticism? Is the impact of literature on the reader. So a critic should create an atmosphere or a situation in such a way the reader gets an impact of what he reads. That is critic, it is the business of the critic. The study of literature has to be centripetal. That is, it has to be, that is an antithesis of centrifugal, that is background criticism. So centripetal means the work as such, the text, the study of the criticism, study of literature should be text-based. Close reading of the text. That is a concept in modern criticism. Close reading of the text. Understand? Text, not background. Centrifugal means background. The first effort of a critic should be a rhetorical and structural analysis of a work of art. Only when you analyze you make a rhetorical and structural analysis of a work, you can see the parts. Understand? And when you know the parts, then you know to which central hypothesis this is geared to. That's why he says, first you have to decipher it, the text. The structural analysis you have to do. Okay. Then what happens is, you get a pure, you understand the whole thing. See the parts, where the parts, each part belongs to, etc. that you know. Or how you can be connected. How a coherent, how the artist has produced this coherence, etc. you will be able to find out. But another thing is that it should not become mechanical. If it is a purely structural approach, then what will happen is, suppose you take a plant and then you study the different structures of that plant. But the life of plants you cannot understand. You can see different structures. Like that, for example, human beings. Suppose you cut a human being into different pieces and structures. But where is life? You can't find the life. Like that. So, just by analyzing structures, you won't be able to find the life of, where is life? Is it in my eyes, nose, heart, brain? Where? You can cut open my body and get all these things. But where is my life? That you cannot. So life is something, a condition. A condition created in a particular situation. That is life. Life. But you can have different parts like that. A work of art is just by structural analysis you are not going to find out the meaning of the text. Because the meaning of the text is created in a situation. Like hormones, for example. Have you seen hormones? No. Can you go into a shop and get a bottle of hormone? No. But then where is the hormone? It's a condition. It's the condition of the body. Like that. So the life of a work, of an artifact, you can say, it is not by analyzing the different parts you are not going to get it. It is a condition, a situation. Understand? So that way you are going to. So says that is not possible. It will be just like he says. Such a criticism will be similar to in biology. What you do is that approach, for example. It's only you can find out the parts but not life. You cannot see the spirit of it. So the central hypothesis, like the theory of evolution in biology, will see the phenomenon it deals with as parts of a whole. What is the phenomenon here that the critic is dealing with? The critic deals with art, isn't it? The archetype literature. So when you analyze this, what happens? You have been with an assumption of a total coherence, like biology, like evolution and different biological organisms. You will also see that there is a central to which all the parts of your work of art is connected. This is what he says. So a central hypothesis, like the theory of evolution and biology, will see the phenomenon it deals with as part of a whole. This is what you are trying to move towards. When you move towards, this is one of the assumptions that when you have to accept when you take up this criticism. That is, this method of criticism, we can say. So this will surely, what will happen is, this will give a centripetal perspective. That is a centripetal perspective. And to literature as a whole. Also other kinds of works. Not only literature and painting, everything. There is a centripetal perspective. Why? Because you say there is, like theory of evolution, you say there is theory of archetypes. So whatever you see, short story, poetry, drama, one-night plays, epic, whatever it is, you will find these are connected to, these are parts of a whole. Which is the whole, the archetypes. And where will you find these archetypes? That's the thing. Where will you find the archetypes? The archetypes, he says, it is there in the collective unconscious. By a structural analysis, we collect data, understand, and try to see larger patterns. That's the thing. Example, I told you in the beginning, I told water, for example, water. Now, water is a symbolism. You will find it in, say, you will find it in Macbeth. You will find it in the Tempest. You will find it in Ancient Mariner. You will find it in the what is that famous the Wastelands? Yes. So this water symbolism you will find. So it is there in different ways and in different contexts that is there. So this potential to use water symbolism is the result of a collective unconscious. This is what I understand. I hope you also, you understand in a different way, please let me know. So this structural analysis. A work of art is not produced solely by the by the unconditional will of the artist. This is very important. See that a work of art is not produced just by the will of the artist. Then from where does it come? It comes from the structure, mental structures of the artist, which is there from the time of his birth. He did not take any effort for that. It is there. You got the point. It is there. So that's why it is collective unconscious. But since he is giving birth to it, since he is the cause of it, you can say in the theory of causality proposed by Aristotle, he is the efficient cause. The poet is only the efficient cause. According to the theory of causality proposed by Aristotle, for anything there should be 4 causes. One is material cause, material cause. Second is formal cause, and third is efficient cause, and fourth is final cause. Final cause or teleology is an end of it. So anything you produce in this world, according to Aristotle, you have got 4 causes. This theory of causes proposed by Aristotle. Now I tell you what is material cause. Suppose a table. What is the material cause? Wood. What is the formal cause? The shape of the table. What is the efficient cause? Carpenter. What is the final cause? The use. Simple. Like that. I think that is clearly the theory of causality. So, in relation to a poem, for example, what is the position or what is the role of the author? Author is not, there is no material cause as far as the author is concerned. Author is only the efficient cause. And also there is a formal cause, because it has got a form. Material, it is in the collective unconscious. And also you will find it around you. Understand? So then he says, a work of art is not produced solely, means only, by the unconditional will of the artist. Artist is only efficient cause. It has a form, so it has a formal cause. Then what happens is, poems are not made, but born. That's the thing. Poems are not made, but born. So what is the business of the artist? The artist should take maximum care to bring it to the world without causing any injury to this. Well, my dear friend, this is a theory. Whether we should accept it or not, that is up to you. So, that is it. And where the poet leaves off, like a child, an infant is born, then immediately who comes in? Not the gynecologist, but the pediatrician comes in. Up to the point where the child makes the first cry, that is the business of the gynecologist. And the moment the child, the baby, the infant makes the first cry, then that is the property of the pediatrician. Exactly like this. So the artist, then comes the critic. It is the business of the critic to see what is it. So critic is like a pediatrician. I think now it is clear to you. Yes. So every poet has, then what happens? He leaves off. So the critic takes over where the poet leaves off. Understand? Now every poet has got his own private mythology, his own spectroscopic brand or particular formation of symbols. That's the thing. Every poet has got. Some people like water, some people like sea. For example, sea is a symbol. Sea is a symbol in Shelley, sea is in Keats. Sea is a symbol in Shakespeare. Sea is a symbol in Coleridge. So you find it in everyone. That's why we say, of course with the difference, that's why it's, but sea is there. So it's a collective unconscious. This is everywhere. Understand? This is the collective unconscious is the concept given to us by Carl Jung. Carl Jung, the disciple of Freud. Carl Jung is the disciple of Freud. You got the point. So he was an analytic psychologist. Analytic psychologist. And so here you have, Jung says it is there everywhere. So in dramas and novels, and then you have characters, see, the same type or slightly different. Because you find a hero, a villain, pattern is the same. Hero, heroine, villain, then somebody to give advice, there is a schemer like that. So this you find not only in England or English drama, but in Greek drama, in Romance, in the Roman drama, see that? Or in the French drama, you find all the same, the Italian drama. What does that mean? That means this, this type of structure or a pattern is found in every human being, everywhere, irrespective of caste, creed, or race or sex. That's why it is said that it is collective unconscious. So that collective unconscious you have to excavate and find out. Or you use the methods of anthropology. We say, I told you, remember, literary anthropology, archetypes, finding out the archetypes. So you found, symbolism you found. And then you find character types. Isn't it? Yeah. Then what about, so we have seen in the collective unconscious level, you saw symbolism, okay? One is, for the time being here, we are trying symbolism of water and sea, connected things. Secondly, we saw character types. So therefore we say this is archetypes. Did you get that point? Now the third point is genre. See? And here, this also you will find. You will find it in Greek literature, Italian literature, French literature, in English literature, in American literature, you find. Why this commonality? This commonality is because of the collective unconscious. This is there in the mind of the people. Understand? The two types of about genre, there are two theories. One is that of the pseudo-platonic theory. And Plato says that about genre you have got two theories. One is pseudo-platonic. Platonic theory. And Plato says, Plato's main concept is that the genre existing prior to and independent of creation. See, that is two levels of existence. Now this one level, this is the second. Here it exists. Here it becomes actual. It is there from this field. So we can say that even if nobody uses this genre, it is there. But it exists. I will give you an example. Suppose you have never come across example, a stone. Whether you know it or not, irrespective of your knowing about the stone exists. See that? So your knowledge is, or your knowing of the existence of stone is unimportant. Why? Because even otherwise it exists. See that? Like that. These jhana, they exist in the concept level. That is pseudo-platonic, that's it. The other is that pseudo-biological. Pseudo-biological. Biological means, whenever we say about biological, that is development. Understand? So there, the pseudo-biological level of jhana is somebody started using it here, another person started it using, then it slowly developed, and from simple poems it became, we say now, heroic poems, or we say sonnets, then we say the Homer's epics, or Dante's epics and so on. So it's developing. From unicellular organism, crown of creation man, that is biology. So there are two different views about jhana. One is, whether you know it or not, you use it or not, they exist. That's one thing. In the world of ideas, they exist. That is, we say now being. The being of being, this phenomenologist will say, phenomenology, there is a being of being. What is being of being means? The being, again what I understand it, is all that phenomenology is what we say, I read a book on phenomenology, and then the introductory part of that, the author says, he says, in a certain understanding of these terms, that means the author also does not know or does not fully understand what this phenomenology is. So from what I know about phenomenology, being of being. What is being of being means? Simple example, this is human being, I am a human being. But the being of being, that is the idea of this human, is something different. The idea, there is a concept of human and the actual human. That's what, in simple language, I can express that here. So for example, when you say epic, the epic you see, the Homer's epic you see, that's the thing. But the idea, its being is something else. It's independent of the thing that you see. The concept of epic is independent of the epic that you see before you, or you read. Or another example, the concept of tragedy is different from a tragedy that is for, let's say, Hamlet, or independent of Hamlet. The concept remains whereas. That is how we understand. Of course, this is not a class on phenomenology. When we take up phenomenology, we will have more of this. Okay. Time being, this is the thing. So it says, there are two, again that is archetype. The collective unconscious. It is there, this jhana, it is there in the collective unconscious. Understand? I hope you understand. So archetypal criticism is a unifying category of criticism. Why is it a unifying category of criticism? Because archetypal criticism says this symbolism, then character types, genre, etc., they exist. Even they exist whether you use them or not. Whether you put them into practice or not, they exist. That is theory. In fact, if you go through the structuralism theory of structuralism and culturalism and structuralism in cultural studies, Hall's essay, the two paradigms, same thing he says. So, culturalist will say, what you see is culture. The structuralist will say, it is not what you see, it is because of your mental structures that you you experience culture. It is because you have got potential for it. You have got the potential for experiencing Taj Mahal. Otherwise, you will not experience Taj Mahal. Because a monkey doesn't experience Taj Mahal, or a tiger doesn't experience Taj Mahal, because the tiger or the monkey or the lion or the deer, they do not have mental structures within them. In other words, ability to experience these things. So in fact, it is something like that. A culturalist will say, no, what you see outside is culture. When you interact with them, culture develops. The structuralist will never say like that. Some will say, you interact, you have the feeling or experience of culture because it is inbuilt in you. That ability is inbuilt in you. That's what this. And now again, I have deviated a little, just because I think that I haven't confused you. Instead, I have to make things clear. I took these two examples. One is from phenomenology, and the other is from cultural studies. Okay. So here, what happens is these are in the mental structures. These are in the mind of all the people, hidden or a potential. So it is collective unconscious. When you see these things in the form of poems, drama and so on, that is the expression of this collective symbolism and collective unconscious. So if you think like that, everything geared to this collective unconscious, so there is a unifying principle. All art, you can say, the expression of the collective unconscious. So you have a unifying principle. Did you get that point? All art forms, whatever you see, these are, you can say, they are the expressions of the collective unconscious or the potential that exists in the mind of human beings. So that is, we can say, it is a unifying principle. Understand? That is. Now for that, what you do? You see a picture. You see the picture is only the brushwork. You go back, you will get the concept, the painting, the concept of painting. Another example, the picture is just a brushwork, no? Color and all those. That is not the real thing. The real thing is, what is the real thing? The real thing is the concept. And the concept is in the mind. It is abstract. Like that. Another example Frye gives is the grave digger scene in Hamlet. You find all kinds of things, the skull and things like that. And what is it after all? What is the essence of it? The essence of it, you go back, see, then you will find the rottenness in the state of Dharma, go back, you will find Saxo's version, go back, and then you will find it, what is it? The nature myths. Nature myths. This is what the Frye says. So what you see is only the grave digger scene, isn't it? Yorick and so on, you see, you know that. I suppose you know it. The skull and all those things he is throwing out. So the grave digger scene signifies what? That is the rottenness in state of Dharma. Again, one step back, it is Saxo's version. One step back, he took it from nature myths. So many people do this from nature myths. Shakespeare has created it this way. Nature myths is not anybody's personal property. Myths in nature, not anybody's personal property. It is spread everywhere. Everywhere means in all the minds of all the people. But it is dormant. So we say it is collective unconscious. So you understand that. Therefore, this is one way of arguing. I don't say that you should accept this argument, but this is how Frye is trying to find out a unifying principle in his theory of the archetypes of literature. I think it is clear to you, no? What is the importance of the critic? Critic should foreground. Criticism should foreground. The impact, he creates an impact on the reader. That's it. And it should be centripetal, means text-based. Right? And then he says there should be what we call a central hypothesis, or we say assumption of total coherence. And that assumption of total coherence is archetypes of literature. Why does he say like that? Because this is all what you find, the expressions, they are the result of, or expressions of collective unconscious. Takes examples of symbolism, then takes examples of characters, examples of the genre. And genre itself, you have got two theories. One is, it is there. It is the abstract level, it exists. Then another is that, like biological evolution, it starts from small, say 2 lines, 3 lines and so on, and it develops up to a 3-line structure to a huge structure like the Homer epics or Dante's epics. That is biological, that development. Now whatever it happens, what is there after these things are there in the mind of man? Dormant. So we say these are expressions of collective unconscious. Alright, you give 2 examples of this, brushwork and the concept of painting. The gravedigger scene and nature myths. This is how he connects it. I think now it is clear to you. Now what I had told you about phenomenology, and also the other thing I told you about is cultural studies. Thus, if you think that it confuses, those 2 examples confuse you, just forget about that. Even otherwise, you will be able to follow this argument. So bye, have a nice time, enjoy the